When I started freelancing, I wondered, how do I make myself stand out? So many people do PR. They pitch media, they work in the same area that I work in, social impact and advocacy. How could I brand myself so I could stand out from the pack? When it comes to getting started as a freelancer, honing in on your personal brand and how you stand out is a vital part of growing your business. For me, I leaned into the parts of my experience that are unique and not quite like everybody else. Not only have I been doing social impact PR for years, but outside of work, I do the work in the community. I have been volunteering for years with the National Urban League and the Greater Washington Urban League here in DC. I've also held an elected position that was essentially a neighborhood liaison working to represent my community in DC government. So I am really entrenched in this work. I do a lot of the community work that my clients are doing on my own as well. I also didn't have a traditional start in PR. I started my career in journalism. I was a news producer for many years, so that allowed me to bring a unique perspective into my communications work. And lastly, I moved differently within my agency experience. I was at agency for 10 years and I moved from account supervisor in that time to vice president. And by the time I was pretty senior, it would have been very easy for me to sort of just focus on managing the account, managing the client relationship, and not really being in the work. But part of the reason why I left is because I don't like that. I didn't like that. I still enjoyed the work. So I still pitched when I was a VP. I still went out to different networking events, different places to keep my relationship strong with journalists and make sure that I was continuing to exercise that muscle so that by the time I went out on my own, I was a very rare person who had a lot of experience in the industry and still had very current media relationships, which is like sort of unusual. So that is another area and way in which I was able to brand myself and help myself stand out. So if you are thinking about your freelance journey, ask yourself, what have you done and what experience have you had that makes you unique, that you can stand out as you figure out how to really position yourself in the market. And if you can't find that answer and you're still working at a full-time job, what can you start doing now that would allow you to be able to get that experience so that in a year or in 6 months, you will have a new story to tell about how your unique experience can come into play for a potential client. In November, I'm launching my Freelance Freedom course, a 3-hour deep dive into all of this and more, where you can really have an opportunity to dig deeper on all the concepts that I address in my videos that are very high level, but this will really let you have a much more in-depth look at how to get all of this going so that you can become a full-time freelancer with a very successful, thriving business. So go ahead, visit the link in my bio or in the caption, sign up for my newsletter so you'll be the first to learn when and how to access the course. I also have a free worksheet that you can download to ask yourself some key questions before you get started. So all of these resources are available for you so that you can get off on the right foot with your freelance journey.